Okay. Well, hey guys, Mason here. Just out for a bit of a fall run on the KLR. Today, before I was leaving the house, I got a notification from YouTube saying happy birthday. Apparently, this is the end of 7 years. Can you believe that? October 5th, 2015, we fired this up. Hard to believe. 7 years of building, modding, and working on the KLR. And that has been fun. I've done a lot to it, but I've got to say, this year on the trip proved to me that my build is done. This bike is exactly where I want it. Everything ran perfectly. Now there's still some little things I want to do to it, but as far as the main build of the bike, it's exactly where I want it. A little bit of a run back in time for some of you that are new around here, but back in 2015 when I purchased the KLR, I had just sold my ZX12R, and this was my first foray into ADV riding. I had always had a street bike and a dirt bike, and this is the first time I attempted to combine both. KLR is not much of a rocket, but it keeps up. It does pretty much exactly what I had expected it to do. And my build back then was focused almost solely on strengthening the machine and crash protection. So it started out with SW Motec crash bars, skid plate, drill through subframe mod with that big bolt that goes right through the rear subframe and really beefs things up. Then I added some off-road foot pegs, heated grips for running this time of year, and started building my dash up. Built my own riser. Of course, I wouldn't do that again. It was entirely too much work when you can get them as inexpensively as you can. And then mounted my phone and my GPS, and that pretty much got me up and running. Crash handguards were next. I went with the Zeta handguards. Over the years, I added the ones that have the turn signal in the covers, wired those in. That was a nice touch. Then I started playing with auxiliary lighting, and at one point I had four off-road lights on the front, 2 up top here and 2 on the crash bars. Over time realized the 2 up top weren't doing anything for me, so they got taken off and thrown in a bin, but those 2 floods down on the crash bars, they are incredibly handy. We still use them every time we ride. And then of course, because of the YouTube channel, I started with the upgrades to my Nomax tank bag, getting power to it for charging and carrying all the cameras and gear. It's been fantastic. The trip started, so we went from lashing old luggage that we had kicking around from the street bike days up to the Moscow Moto R80, and then the iteration through to the R80 V2. Likely around year 2, the engine mod started in earnest. KLX needle kit, drill the slide for better throttle response. The constant torquing of that front muffler mount, where the front muffler pipe bolts to the flange on the motor. That's something I had to keep an eye on. The D-cell pop would get horrendous and I'd have to get in there and give it another little torque. The connection between the straight pipe and the exhaust needs to have a constant eye on it for the first couple years. Eventually it settles into and stops moving. If it leaks there, it melts through the bottom of your airbox. Then came suspension. Cogent, just a absolutely fantastic setup. Still amazing. It's been back for one service. Everything looked good during that service. It's perfect. It's the perfect setup. Custom built exactly for my weight and needs. Loaded and unloaded. Perfect. TKC80 tires have carried me for 35,000 kilometers. There's been the odd exception where I've tried something new, but I keep coming back. They're just a brilliant tire for the KLR. I could get about 6,000 kilometers out of the rear before it's done. And for the grip and traction, oh my goodness, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Of course, bar risers, mirrors, they all went on along the way. SW Motec rear rack went on. Fantastic for lashing down the luggage. The folks at Chrono Parts sent me a box of protection stuff to have a look at. It went on the bike and has never come off. It's all stood up so well. I got the brackets that support the rear turn signals. I got the rear master cylinder cover, the front caliper cover, the foot plate for the side stand. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. All that stuff's been just top notch. And I'm not easy on my gear either. It's just been excellent. Then I was able to team up with Rocky Mountain and get some Tusk stuff sent up here to Canada. Oversized front brake rotor, matching Typhoon rear, Tusk pads, steel braided brake lines, and that brought the braking on the KLR right up to par. Absolutely amazing. We've had some fun building out the toolkit. I do all my maintenance in the shop with it as well to make sure that there's not something missing or something I've overlooked. Of course, there's the odd exception to that rule where you have to break out a big bar or something, but typically with what I carry in the tool bag, I can fix almost anything on this thing on the side of the road. We've had a couple breakdowns over the last 7 years. I've had 2 flats on the road. We had to pull the tire, change the tube. That's in this other bag. Tubes, tire irons, patch kit. That's happened to me twice, and I had one incident of bad fuel, and that blocked the carburetor, and the boys ended up watching me do a carb tear down in the parking lot of a very closed gas station, and about an hour cleaning, tinkering, and putting back together again, and we were back up and running. Been absolutely amazing. Oh my God, so much fun. The other things I've done to it are pretty minor. My charging system here, that was an ongoing battle for a number of years. Finally have this dual port USB that's waterproof and never given me an issue. I flick the switch, my dash comes alive, I turn it off, my dash shuts down. And that has just been so nice, because every year I would change that plug, that USB plug. I tried all the different ones from Amazon. I had metal ones, plastic ones that told you voltage, ones that didn't. And every year they would be fine, and I would leave for the trip, and all of a sudden stuff would stop charging, or my GPS would blink right when we're in the middle of nowhere trying to figure out what's going on. So that's sorted and been fantastic. The LED rear tail light, been a really nice upgrade. I do not run LED headlights. They are factory, but the low beam has been changed twice. I've replaced it. What else have I done? I have a book. It's actually now 2 books. where I write down and log all the maintenance and mods that I do to the bike, because my memory cannot retain it. Especially now that I got the wake-up call this morning that it's actually somehow been 7 years. That starts to explain why I can't remember what I did in the first 2 years. But I will say that a logbook on any motorcycle is a really good idea, guys. I can go back without it I wouldn't even know. It's been absolutely amazing. It's so handy. I used to keep a record of everything I've purchased for the KLR in there too, but I stopped doing that when it got a little excessive. We've covered the gear. I started with inexpensive gear and really expensive boots, and I've worked my way up until the rest of my gear matches the quality of my boots. Pretty much everyone I ride with now, we're huge fans of the climb gear. But once your bike build's done, you can start funneling a little bit of resources into your gear. And oh my goodness, does that make a change. The climb gear's been fantastic. The Shoei helmet's been fantastic, but there's lots of good helmets out there. The Shoei happens to be the one that fits my head. Doesn't matter what one you like best, it's whatever one fits you. The Alpine Star Gore-Tex boots, absolutely amazing. Oh, another thing I added was the Trail Tech tachometer and hour meter. It's also a clock, but I mean, I don't use it for that. I put this on when the Gen 3 KLR came out, and I knew it was coming without a tach. And I wanted to test a viable solution for those people that have purchased the new KLR. And this little sucker from Trail Tech is amazing. It's been on my bike since I put it on, likely 2 to 3 years, and no issues at all. Highly recommended if you need a tach. That's the one to get. So yeah, guys, it's been a good journey. That's been 7 fun years. I have seriously enjoyed it. And I've got to say that the KLR is exactly where I wanted to get it. It runs strong. It pulls as hard as you can get it to pull without getting into major engine work, which it might do down the road. But the suspension is so good, the brakes are so good, it's so comfortable, the ergonomics are perfect. I can ride it all day. It's been absolutely fantastic. What a great fun build. That has been fun. I think that's it though. I think that's the end of this build. This year proved to me on the trip that there isn't anything I need to do to it. Maintenance, I just got to do maintenance, and that's it. You won't see me bolting too many more things on it, I don't think, unless something cool comes out. We'll have to have a look at that, wouldn't we? But, no, those of you still running Gen 2s, they're a great machine. They are a great machine. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a 7-year update. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? 7-year update on the KLR 650 Gen 2. That has been a fun build. Anyway, I think it's pretty much complete. So now we got to figure out what on earth we're going to do next. We need another project, or at least something else to tinker with, eh? I have to put some thought into that. Anyway, guys, as always, mind how you go, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Hey guys, if you liked that video, hit the thumbs up button for us. It goes a long way towards helping out the channel. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button in the upper corner for new videos every Sunday. Be glad to have you along for the ride.